Same shit boots for over a year. This heals through it. There's no way.
Hey guys, it's Kev again. So Jacqueline, Sudfin, and I were chatting on Patreon about how cool it would be if Jaime acquired usage of his missing hand through some form of fire magic or other higher mysteries, dark arts. And that chat reminded me of the mystery around why Locke chopped off his hand. Why'd he do it?
My father. And if you get in any trouble, all you've got to do is say my father. And that's it. All your troubles are gone.
The show does not give us an answer, but it's very clear in the books. First off, the show character, Locke, he doesn't exist in the books. He's loosely based off of a character called Vargo Hoat, but George R. R. Martin felt their backstories and mannerisms were too different, so the show renamed him. Vargo Hoat is known for chopping off the feet and hands of prisoners. He's sick in the head. But there's a more specific reason as to why he chopped off Jaime's hand. And it's not just because Jaime's a really good swordsman.
Misfortune.
You lost your hand.
My sword hand. I was that hand.
So let's take a step back and look at the sides. You've got the crown, basically the Lannisters. Then you've got Stannis Baratheon. And you've got the North. Technically, Roose Bolton is part of the North, but not for long. At this point, he's plotting the Red Wedding. Vargo Hoat abandoned House Lannister to join Roose Bolton.
Let us go. My father will pay you whatever you want.
Enough to buy me a new head?
His reward was Harrenhal. But Vargo had hoped that Stannis would win at the Battle of Blackwater. If Stannis had won, he had hoped that he'd be allowed to keep Harrenhal for his small part in the downfall of House Lannister. Of course, Stannis would not have gone along with this. In the words of Roose, that one might have given him Harrenhal for his service, but he would have given him a noose for his crimes as well.
A good act does not wash out the bad, nor a bad the good.
But that's besides the point. The point is, Stannis lost, so the Lannisters retained their power and Vargo Hoat was scared. Vargo's other way to avoid Lannister vengeance would have been if the Starks won the war, but Robb messed up. Theon took Winterfell, then Robb married Talisa and lost the Freys, and Robb killed Rickard Karstark and lost the Karstarks.
The North can't win this war. You're a smart man, you understand that. We have the numbers, we have the gold.
Aye. You have both.
Now after wars, people often get pardons, people like Robb Stark, not people like Vargo Hoat. He wasn't a High Lord. So he was banking on protection through marriage. The Karstarks wanted vengeance on Jaime and the Lannisters, as evidenced by them killing Jaime's young cousins. So Vargo hoped to marry into House Karstark and move all the way up north out of the reach of the Lion's Claws. But to sell Jaime to the Karstarks, he needed to keep Jaime. And he was afraid that Roose Bolton might switch teams and join the Lannisters. Pretty smart because he did.
You will give my regards to Lord Tywin, I trust.
So he cut off Jaime's hand. Why? Because Vargo Hoat was one of Roose Bolton's men.
Flayed man of House Bolton.
So he figured that by cutting off Jaime's hand, this would look bad for Roose Bolton, and it might prevent Roose from selling Jaime to the Lannisters.
As soon as you're well enough to travel, I will allow you to go to King's Landing as restitution for the mistakes my soldiers made, and you will swear to tell your father the truth, that I had nothing to do with your maiming.
But unfortunately for Vargo Hoat, Roose did something to Jaime that no one else ever does. He trusted him. It's a cool little back and forth. Check it out. Quote, I see. You want me to absolve you of blame, to tell my father that this stump is no work of yours. My lord, send me to Cersei, and I'll sing as sweet a song as you could want, of how gently you treated me. Had I a hand, I'd write it out, how I was maimed by the sellsword my own father brought to Westeros, and saved by the noble Lord Bolton. I will trust to your word, sir. And then Jaime thinks, there's something I don't often hear. So here's a recap to make it a little more clear. Vargo Hoat was originally on Team Lannister. He switched sides to the north under Roose Bolton. For doing this, Bolton gave him the cursed castle of Harrenhal. So Vargo did not want Tywin to win the war, because we know from the reigns of Castamere that Tywin is not fond of traitors. Unfortunately, Stannis lost the Battle of Blackwater, and Robb Stark won every battle, but he was making bad political moves, so his future did not look good. It seemed like Tywin was going to win the war. So Vargo needed a backup plan, and his backup plan was to marry into House Karstark. Here's how it goes down. So one of Robb's men, Rickard Karstark, hated the Lannisters. In the books, this is because Jaime killed his son at the Battle in the Whispering Wood. In the show, Rickard Karstark's son is the guard in this scene. Jaime killed his own cousin, and then the Karstark guard. So this is why Rickard Karstark killed Jaime's cousins, those kids. So Robb considered the murder of these kids treason. Against the advice of his family, Robb cut off Rickard Karstark's head, and as a result, the Karstark family left Robb's side. Now let's go back to Vargo Hoat. Vargo Hoat saw this as an opportunity. He could sell Jaime to the Karstarks in exchange for a hand in marriage, to marry a Karstark girl, then move all the way up north out of the reach of the Lannisters' claws. But he could not sell Jaime to the Karstarks if Roose gave Jaime back to the Lannisters. So he cut off Jaime's hand, hoping that this would look bad for Bolton since Vargo Hoat was a Bolton man. But as we said before, Roose did something that no one else ever does. He trusted Jaime. So chopping off Jaime's hand did not work. In the books, the Mountain, who is Tywin's man, eventually retakes Harrenhal, and in poetic fashion, he cuts off Vargo Hoat's hands and feet. Boom. If you like this type of video, check out the one on Jon's Night's Watch election. It's a good scene in the show, but it goes down differently in the books. Hats off to Sam the Slayer. He pulled it off by being a good little liar.
From there to here, from here to there, all black and brown and covered with hair, he smelled that girl in the summer air, the bear, and the maiden fair.